Okay, let's unpack this. Have you ever found yourself wishing there was like a shortcut? A way to just get how English really works day to day, beyond the textbooks, I mean, out there in, real life, messy human interactions.
Oh, absolutely. And today we're really diving deep into some fascinating insights. They're drawn from real English, everyday lives, global connections.
Our mission for you, really, is to pull out the most, practical bits. The stuff that shows how English is just woven into everything, our routines, jobs, how we connect, and how maybe surprisingly simple phrases and just showing up consistently can build real confidence.
Right. So let's start small. Where does English often begin for people in those personal habits, right? The things we do every day. Our source mentions Daniel. He starts at 6 a.m., drinks some water, reads just a single page from a book. For focus, he says, before breakfast. For me, it's a short walk, then tea. It's these little things, isn't it? They kind of set the tone. It's true. And what's fascinating, I think, isn't just the routine itself. It's how these moments, these personal rituals, can become this sort of quiet lab for practicing English. Even if you're just thinking in your head, okay, I'm boiling the water now, or I'm reading this sentence. It turns something mundane into, practice.
Yeah, like deliberate practice.
Exactly. And think about Jamal, the student mentioned. He felt overwhelmed, busy. But he used a planner, set small goals, and that changed things. He felt relaxed, productive. It's the same idea, really.
Yeah.
Breaking down a big task like learning English into manageable bits, maybe even applying that do the hard things first idea.
That makes a lot of sense, creating little pockets of practice. Speaking of pockets, family life, traditions. Source talks about Lena's family. At weekends, they always eat together. They take turns cooking, share old stories. My family does Friday nights. These moments are not just about connecting, are they? They're full of natural conversation.
Precisely. And if you look at the bigger picture here, these interactions show English as a tool, a real tool for connection. And, even if your English isn't perfect, kindness kind of acts like this universal language. It greases the wheels for communication.
Greases the wheels. I like that.
Yeah. Like Arif, this young guy who helped someone whose car broke down. He called a mechanic, used simple words, sure. But his effort, his sincerity, it made everyone smile. It shows that really intent matters. Empathy can bridge those language gaps. People become more forgiving, more open.
That's a really good point about intent. And what about just simple small talk? The classic talking about the weather.
Always a good one.
James, a student in the source, he apparently starts his emails with, I hope the weather is nice where you are. It's simple, friendly, an easy way in.
It is. And that idea extends so naturally into hobbies, shared interests. Like Rachel, the neighbor who loves gardening. She talks easily using simple English about watering her plants or growing tomatoes. Yeah. The key thing is it's not forced, right? It's relaxed. It's about something she enjoys, so the English practice feels, organic. Almost fun.
Yeah, finding those comfortable spots where the pressure just kind of disappears.
Exactly.
Okay, so that covers the personal stuff, how English fits into our home life. But what about when we step outside? Daily errands, services, like grocery shopping. Everyone does it. The source gives this great example of Paul at the supermarket. He had his list. He asked a worker, where are the apples? Simple stuff. Where can I find the bread? He even asked if the chicken was fresh. And then at the checkout, about a store card. It's like a mini play of practical English.
And what's really interesting there is how those specific questions, those clear statements, just make everything so much smoother, less friction,
Right, less confusion.
It's about clarity, efficiency. And it's similar when you're eating out. Knowing phrases like, what's the most popular meal? Or can I see the menu? Like Mr. Thomas in the example. Very polite.
Yeah.
It doesn't just make it easier. Yeah. It actually empowers you. You get to participate fully, not just, point at things.
Yeah.
You're taking control.
Taking control, yeah. Public transport, though. That can be famously tricky.
Oh, definitely.
I remember missing a bus once because I just could not figure out the announcement. That feeling of being stuck, hopeless. But my friend Imran, he's smart. He carries a little notebook. Useful phrases like, where is the nearest bus stop? Always checks it. It's like his personal city language cheat sheet.
That's a brilliant strategy. And it really highlights something important. Being prepared reduces anxiety. If you connect that to more formal places, like, say, going to the bank, feeling nervous at first, like Oliver and Emma did, totally normal. But patient bank staff, like Mr. William, in the source. And the fact that there's usually a clear process, like for opening an account, that helps a lot. You're guided. You get cues for the English you need. And each time you do it successfully, your confidence grows.
Okay, and what about health? Because, the stakes feel much higher there, don't they?
Absolutely.
The source talks about Emily with a sore throat and Hannah helping her mom explain a stomachache at the clinic. Learning phrases like, I have a sore throat and a fever, or just knowing body parts.
Yep.
That seems crucial. It's not where you want to be guessing.
No, definitely not. And this brings up a really key point about precision, especially in these high-stakes situations. In an emergency or even just a routine doctor's visit, being able to clearly, accurately describe what's wrong, that directly impacts the care you get. It's not just about being understood. It's about giving unambiguous information when it really, really matters.
Right. Clarity is key there. Okay, changing gears a bit, making new connections. Friends. The source mentions meeting someone, Noor, at a language exchange, and how just chatting simple conversations help them improve way faster than studying alone.
The interactive element.
Yeah. And even when traveling, there's a story about Fatima teaching cooking in a village where they didn't share a language, confidence, kindness. It seemed to matter more than perfect grammar. It was about that shared experience.
And here's where it gets, I think, really interesting, because that idea, necessity driving learning it, just comes alive. Think about Benjamin and Sarah's story. Moving to a whole new city, this wasn't just signing up for an English class.
Yeah, much more involved.
They had to read apartment listings in English, make phone calls that the apartment's still available, ask really important questions about bills, about safety, arrange utilities, electricity, internet, and then on top of all that practical stuff, they're meeting new neighbors, baking cookies, navigating those social bits too.
Wow, that's quite the immersion.
Exactly.
And what their story shows, I think, is how that kind of multifaceted real-world need can just supercharge the learning process. It's not just about using English for one thing. It's urgent problems forcing you to learn across different areas. Legal stuff in contracts, social chat, practical requests. It's an immersion textbooks just can't copy.
It really accelerates everything, doesn't it?
It does. So we've talked personal life, daily errands. What does all this mean for you at work? Because English is fundamental there too. And these stories, these real life examples, they really bring that home, show the different ways English is, well, essential.
Absolutely. Let's look at Thomas, the delivery driver. English is just part of his daily grind.
Yeah.
Right? Greeting customers, handling problems.
Yeah.
But the key thing, he notes down new sentences he hears. He's not just passively using the language.
Actively learning.
Yes. It's like active recall. By writing down what he encounters, he's processing it, strengthening those connections in his brain. Much better than just hearing it. He's basically turning every interaction, even the stressful ones with unhappy customers, where being calm and clear is vital, into a mini lesson. Building confidence step by step.
Turning pressure into practice. I like that. Okay, then there's Rebecca, the primary school teacher. Her day sounds completely soaked in English. Greeting kids by name, teaching English clearly, asking questions, using it in math, emailing parents, helping colleagues, even reading bedtime stories at home.
And what's fascinating about Rebecca, I think, is her whole philosophy. It's not about being perfect.
No.
It's about using it every day.
Yep.
Integrated. From lesson planning to making dinner, it's just woven into her life and her students' lives. She really embodies this idea that mastery is a journey of constant, meaningful use, not some final destination. She's not just teaching English. She's modeling how to live in English.
That integrated approach sounds incredibly effective. Now let's shift again. Matthew, the construction site supervisor. Very different environment.
Very different, yes.
His day. Safety meetings, dividing teams, explaining problems really clearly. This pipe is not straight. Coordinating with drivers, engineers, correcting mistakes, but politely, talking to inspectors. Here, clear English isn't just nice to have, it's crucial for safety, for getting the job done right.
Matthew's story really highlights the need for domain-specific language and leadership communication. In these kinds of settings, clear, concise instructions, respectful talk, it's absolutely paramount for safety, for efficiency. And notice, he even uses written English notes to practice. That shows a deliberate effort to refine his professional communication, reduce ambiguity, make sure everyone is quite literally on the same page.
Yeah, absolutely critical there. And these are just a few examples from the sources, aren't they?
Just scratching the surface.
We also heard about David, the librarian, calmly helping people. James, the bus driver, making those vital announcements. Claire, the nurse, guiding patients with empathy. It's just so clear that English is threaded through almost every profession, demanding different things, clarity sometimes, empathy other times, precision elsewhere.
And what's really powerful when you look at all these stories together is this realization. every single interaction.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it feels small or routine or incredibly high stakes. It becomes this opportunity, a chance for growth, for learning when you're actively engaging with English. The real power, it seems, isn't in perfection. It's in speaking clearly, kindly, and, with purpose.
So bringing it back to you, our listener, what does this all mean for you? Well, it means building that confidence in English. It's probably not about mastering complex grammar overnight or making some huge, scary leap. It seems to be about consistency, showing up, being brave enough just to use the English you have in your daily life and realizing every chat, every errand is a chance to get a little better.
Which leads us to, I think, an important question for you to maybe mull over. Is even these seemingly ordinary moments, ordering coffee, asking for directions, chatting with a neighbor, they can be such profound chances to build confidence and connection through English? What seemingly unremarkable interaction in your daily life might you be overlooking right now? What could be your next hidden learning laboratory?